Road Journal, Day 8. As we travel closer to the mountain, I am concerned about the dangers we face as we near the hobgoblin fires in the distance. Our first show is looming ever nearer. Could be a barn burner, could be a bloodbath. For those of you listening, you might want to check content warnings. But for us, we need to be wary of what lays ahead. Oh look, there's a gnome up there. Perhaps we should stop and talk to him. But we've got to be wary because gnomes can be wily little fellas.
Hello everybody, and welcome back to Dungeons, Drive-Ins, and Dice, A Wider World. My name is Em, and I play Haribo Tamagotchi, currently halfling. That feels his natural state. He's a changeling artificer. I don't know if I said that, but the changeling, yeah. The question of the day is something that we did to pass our time as a kid. It's a heavy mixture of either Pokemon, specifically Pokemon, for sure. Love Pokemon. Or just like running around with a stick in the woods. Always a set of woods near my house, get a stick, and my imagination runs wild. Which, when I found D&D, I was like, what the fuck? I can actually do that without hurting someone with a stick? That's cool. That's really cool.
Hurt people with sticks.
I can fake hurt people with sticks, and it's really, it feels like I'm a kid running through the woods when I play D&D, like, no joke. Haribo, it was drawing. He was really into, like, drawing and coloring, like a lot of kids are, as they, like, pick up color, but, like, Haribo got pretty good at it until his parents took that away from him, so no more using that to pass the time. It was all studying. Study, Haribo.
Hi, my name is Lawrence, and I play the gelatinous bard, Sparkleoneous. What I did as a kid, I guess, is tangentially related to what Em did. I had a lot of fake plastic swords that I would run around the yard with, and I would just whack weeds with them. I would just hit grass. My parents have lots of pictures calling me the lawnmower. You know, never an even cut, never a good cut, but a cut nonetheless.
Wait, these fake swords were cutting the grass?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
I mean, yeah, if you swing something at grass hard enough, it'll probably get it.
Grass is not strong.
Yeah, I was swinging all over the place. 5-year-old strength knows no bounds. And then old Sparkleoneous was very, especially at a very young age, was very fascinated with his own form. He would just sort of make himself into various shapes, fit himself into crevices. His parents lost him for about 5 hours underneath the cupboards one day, and he just oozed right back out and said, "Hello, I'm here. I'm ready for dinner."
Oozed right back out.
I can't imagine being a parent to a gelatinous mass.
Yeah, it's probably very troublesome.
The amount of, tantrums I've seen in person, and I'm sure through, I can't imagine being a parent to a gelatinous mass throwing a tantrum. It'll just ooze out of your fingers.
Ew.
What are you gonna do? I'm just gonna spread myself 1 inch thick everywhere.
Exactly. Put me in timeout. I'm in the
worst.
You can't make me go to school unless you mop me up.
The worst tantrum.
Hi, my name is Grace Stringer, and I play necromantic. I almost said bard. I'm not a bard.
Emphasis on the romance.
Healer, shifter person, Margery Ridgeback. And me, Grace, I was a big one that likes to draw. I had that special paper with the Crayola magic markers that would only work on that one kind of paper, so they couldn't make a mess anywhere.
Sure.
And I was super into that. Also liked going outside to catch bugs and put them in, those little, like, log-shaped bug boxes that you could get, like this mesh. I would just fill those with bugs. And then Margery, she probably likes to steal.
I want to steal.
Getting better at stealing, at thieving.
Stealing. Good.
So, I'm Michael. I play Thadeus Ofkoot, the mountain dwarven fighter. In my early childhood, I liked to play in the creeks and the ponds behind my parents' house. When I made my way to high school, I did take up swords. And my now brother-in-law, who was one of my best friends in high school, he and I used to go out into the woods at our boarding high school and literally beat the crap out of each other with fake swords.
Yeah.
He has gone on to become a Shinkendo sword master, and I have not. So we don't so much sword fight anymore.
It's not fair anymore.
Yeah. I don't want to embarrass him, since he's put all that time into training. Thaddeus, as a child, was an adventurer as he is as an adult. He liked to spend times exploring into the mines and the mountains and around the mountains, and he was always off doing things he shouldn't have been doing. So that's how he spent most of his youth.
I feel it.
So far, we all like.
I think I did that all the way through college, yeah.
And I'm Theodore Stringer, the game master, player of every other character. In my youth, I did a lot of reading. I also like to sort things. I think in a harkening back, oft times my bedroom floor was covered in Pokemon cards, sorted by their attack or their HP or their color or any other way that I could think of. I still do that. Now it's Magic cards though, and I definitely need to get through and sort those at some point because they're a mess. Big hefty boxes of them. Let's see. Barson, in his childhood, he liked to sit in the eaves balcony type deal above his parents' shop, overlooking like Market Street in wherever, and he liked to drop things on passersby as they walked the street. He did the things he dropped. He was always dropping like pocket change, so it was like money.
But from how high? Because that could be fucked up.
I mean, like second floor.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just
it's
rude.
Like,
yeah.
How
just
heavy
like.
Isn't the money like metal coins in this world?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Just
Yeah. It was.
rude.
He was definitely dropping silvers on people.
Get clonked in the head.
Does anyone know canonically like what the size of this? Is it like a quarter? Is the money? What is the size of the money?
The size of a $50 or better.
Okay, that's thick.
Yeah,
That's
I'm imagining that like copper coins are closer to quarter size maybe, but the silvers and the golds are definitely a doubloon or a $50 or something like that.
Oh, I was picturing like nickels, not nickels size.
No, we've got.
No nickels.
This is the $100 coin. No one wants to hand you a nickel. That's not $100 worth of coinage. It has to weigh like $100 worth of coin.
That's fair. That's fair.
All right, back to our story. And when last we were in our story, we had just gotten jumped, kind of. We knew it was coming. We knew that we were going to get got here. But we walked right into it anyways because we had a plan. And our plan was to pretend to be a band, which, if memory serves, it's 2 synths, a
Oh, I've actually-
squeak
it's-
horn, and Sparkleoneous.
There's like a glass harmonica, a bike horn with 3 to 5 notes, a trumpet, and a synth. What a band.
Trying to think of a way to shoehorn the word cacophonous into a band name.
We're kissing.
No. Our band name is Kissing Booth.
We are
Kissing Booth is great. Sparkleoneous and the Bandits was a portion of the recap that I hadn't yet gotten to. I have now thought of Cacophonous Ooze.
That's good.
And Cacophonous Ooze, there's something there.
Still
It's a
fits
level
in
5
the
spell
sex
that
bomb
Sparkleoneous
game.
can't cast yet.
I like that. Anyhow, we were a band. Our band came into a cluster of abandoned-looking buildings. There was a gnome there. He said, "Hey, talk to us," and so we did. And we went and talked to him, and we told him about our stuff. And he waited for the appropriate episode-ending moment to deliver a pun, and delivered his pun and a signal. And a whole group of hobgoblins has spilled out from the various hiding places amongst these buildings and have dropped a pair of logs from behind the wagon, closing off our easiest avenue of escape. I remember what the pun was like.
You be Sparkleoneous and we'll be the bandits.
And we'll be the bandits. Yeah.
Honestly, a fantastic
So yeah, you're
pun.
surrounded. And the gnome asks you, what's your business here? Why are you coming this way?
Yeah, I mean, we're here to play the mountain.
Got to go to a show, innit?
Repeat.
Were you invited? Were you booked?
Boston, do you have the ledger?
I mean, no, we're
everyone's
traveling.
looking at Barson. Barson jumps down from the wagon and he says, "Great music doesn't need invitations to be played. Show them, guys."
All right, and a 1, and a 2, and a...
And do our rolls from right before count? Because I rolled like a nat.
Yeah. I mean, we
Really
did
good?
a whole show for him. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We got a nat 20 and a 19 from the two least capable, and then Sparkleoneous got a 14. M can roll again because I don't remember his number from last time.
Nice.
Okay.
Roll good.
15.
That's pretty solid. You guys play a tune. It's Gib and Haribo laying down sort of a wavering set of harmonics, with Sparkleoneous and Margery doing kind of a jazz improv kind of a thing, squeaking back and forth. Yeah, Sparkleoneous riffing on the squeaks. Riffing on the squeaks. There it is. There's the name of the song.
Ripping on the squeaks.
I don't think that we get a whole lot of overwhelming response, but as you're looking, you see a few of the hobgoblins sort of swaying a little bit, and the gnome sitting on his fence post is sort of tapping his toe a little bit, and he says, "Yeah, okay, yeah, we could use a little entertainment, but we will have to, for everyone's safety, we will have to, we gotta remove your weapons and such. Gotta put them in this box."
Thaddeus says no. I'm security.
sound like
I
a
must
very good
remain
idea.
armed.
It sounds like an easy
I'm
way
but
for
a
you
simple-
to steal from us. Put all of our stuff in a box, and then you walk away with the box. Nothing to defend ourselves, because it's all in the box. How about we get a box, and you put your weapons in that box, and then we'll put our weapons in your box.
I mean, persuasion.
All right. We could really potentially get a lot of weapons here. There's many more of them than there are of us. We could get
It's
so
true.
many weapons
And
in a
I don't
box.
have. I'm not giving up any weapons because none of them.
I
my
don't have a
weapons are
single
visible, yeah.
weapon that they could possibly find on me. They could
Yep.
frisk me all they wanted.
I don't want them to take my weapon.
So I've got a grand total of 22.
Goodness. He says, yeah, all right. That doesn't sound super fair. You got me on that one. But I still don't, we can't have you armed in the midst of all of our people. We don't know you either.
So wait, are you contracting us for a show? Is that what's going on? We've got another show to get to.
I mean, you've got another show to get to that you weren't invited to. I know some people. I don't think I've introduced myself. My name is... insert name here.
I believe you said the Bandits.
Excellent. The name's Jansen, and I know some people up at that mountain. I happen to be a quartermaster of one of our camps. You play a good show for us. I could put in a good word for you with the boss. Maybe get you that invite you need.
All right. Well, then how about we keep our weapons? At least, maybe we leave them all with the security officer over here. And then we'll go get up on stage and rock the house down, as it were. Seems nice and fair, I think.
It seems nice and fair, yeah. You leave your weapons in the wagon, and we leave the wagon sort of at the edge of the camp. And you come into the camp, and you play your thing.
Yeah, and I'll stay with the wagon.
That all makes sense.
Sounds like a fantastic idea. A little warm up
All
before
right,
we
so
get
what's
to the
the
mountain.
pay? You can talk
I mean-
to my manager, Boston, about the pay.
That sounds great. I'll talk to him. We'll
All
talk
right,
while you
everyone,
guys play.
Let's go warm up. No, you shouldn't talk while we play. That's very rude. In between songs, maybe.
Yeah, I think they form up in an organized circle around your wagon, and Jansen hops up, sits with Barson to give him directions, and off you go. I think it is perhaps 20 minutes in the wagon further down the road, and then a little bit further down the road, Jansen directs you off a sort of a farm track and leads you to a camp, a fairly well-established camp. These are tents constructed to last. There are rudimentary barricade walls, at least guarding the access from the road. Like there are barricades that can be dragged in front of the road to the camp. And it looks to be pretty bustling here. Let's make some checks. Perception, insight, nature perhaps, knowledge checks.
While we've got these knowledge checks going on, I think Sparkleoneous is going to try and get on the good side of some of the folks that we're moving up into the camp with. Like Sparkleoneous go, "Oh, hello, nice to meet you. I'm Sparkleoneous. I play the horn. And, of course, behind me, we've got the rest of the kissing booth. How are you doing? Oh, you're rather tall, aren't you?"
Oh, yeah, yes, I am. I am rather tall.
Is that axe vintage?
No, it's postmodernist.
Oh, beautiful. I rolled a 16 on my, I guess, persuasion check for the crowd work.
Okay, Sparkleoneous has a crowd work check. What are the other three doing?
I am perceiving, and I rolled a 21.
Incredible.
I got a 21 because I've got pluses.
All right. Margery's scoping things with urchin senses.
17 for perception for Thaddeus.
We like to perceive things.
I'm gonna do a general insight check, vibe check, to see if I can scope out what kind of music I think that is gonna be the right vibe here.
Perfect.
Good call.
12.
Okay. I think the first check that we see this through is going to be Thaddeus. Thaddeus, you got a 17. And I sort of like to look at your checks through your soldier background.
Indeed.
And this camp, while busy, it does seem organized.
Okay.
The animals have their specific place near food for them, the storehouses, and anywhere that is keeping goods is also nearby places where they are making and repairing goods. All of the tents are in neat arcs behind the central campfire. So I think with your perception, you learn that this is a very organized group and that they are looking to expand, perhaps, is the other thing that you see here. Is that you see, like if this was a regular camp, you wouldn't expect to see perhaps storage of supplies to the degree that you see here. They have a lot of building materials. They're looking to expand, I think.
Right. When I get a moment, I will share that with the group, but I want to let everybody play theirs out.
Certainly. Sparkleoneous and Margery, you guys are next. Margery, your urchin senses, it's not like there's a lot of urchin activity here, but I think as an urchin, you get sort of a read on like an environment when you're in a space, and the read that you get is sort of optimistic, I would say, almost bubbly. It's like activity with purpose, with excitement, like we're all part of something, we're all accomplishing something together here. And I think that Sparkleoneous, your persuasion performance, crowd work definitely reflects that this is a group that is more willing to interact with strangers than perhaps you would assume from goblinoids. Haribo, sort of the sum up of all of this, the vibe you're seeing is sort of, it's upbeat, it's energetic, and you're seeing, on top of that, you're also seeing a good amount of war preparations. There are a couple of blacksmiths. There's a guy sharpening a big axe. There are racks of various weapons and armor. Thaddeus, you might notice that some of this armor looks hastily modified. And so your vibe, I'm sort of thinking, I don't know how to translate this for Haribo.
Y'all ever
Murray
heard
Road?
the front lines of the orcish war music? Sure. Never mind. Yeah. All right. Haribo goes back to tinkering with his belt.
All right, you guys arrive at the edge of this camp, and Jansen turns around in the front seat and he looks at you guys. He says, "All right, now's the time. I know you guys got to carry weapons. That's a dangerous world out here, but you gotta put them in the wagon so you can come play tunes. I'm really excited for these tunes."
Grace has a question about how my magic works. So I have my scythe, right? But I also but my magic comes from my little totem, right? And that doesn't look like a weapon. I just don't fully understand where the magic comes from. I'm fine giving up the scythe if my magic, I can still keep my powers.
Yeah, no, you are basically right on the money. Your magic itself comes from your deity, but you channel it through the raven skull on a necklace, I believe is what you've got there. So yeah, you could definitely just wear that.
Okay. Then yeah.
Wrap it around your squeeze horn for some sort of spooky effect.
I don't like the name of my instrument. Then yeah, I'll put my scythe in the bucket because they don't know I have powers.
As a musician, I do not carry weapons on me. All I carry is my synth. And I put my hand above my belt and it goes woo woo, as my synth does.
Is that? I love that sound from the synth.
Also, for our point of view, my belt is a bag of holding at the moment, so they don't.
Is it? Is that how
Yes.
it functions?
It's one of my
Oh, wow.
four. It's one of my 4 artificer infusions. That changes as
I
I
see.
take rests and stuff. It just depends on what is needed. But bag of holding for travel is needed.
That's so cool.
Interesting. Okay, cool. I suppose I won't call for a deception check there. It is a synth, among other things.
Yeah. I'm just. I don't have literally anything on me. I'm wearing my overalls, my boots, and I have my belt. You know, I have my synth. It's a synth they don't understand, but it's a synth nonetheless.
I'll say that the not carrying of weapons and also the not carrying of anything except for overalls and a belt is also a little confusing for them. They don't understand that either.
I'm a musician. I've got nothing to hide.
He wants for nothing.
I don't need to. I have security. Thaddeus is security. I have.
I've got overalls on my
I don't
bod
need
and music in my soul, and I don't need nothing else.
And I got the tallest dwarf in the Badlands
And
to whip
his
ass
Doc
if it needs be.
His
My
fantasy.
steel-toed Doc Martens to put up an ass if I need them.
And as you can see, I'm translucent.
Yep. There's a. What do you have in you? There's a pot, and you have your
Pebbles. His pebbles.
your needle weapon, or is that a thing that you get when you come
I
back?
haven't gotten that yet. He didn't finish it yet.
Okay.
There's a couple of daggers in the pot, but they don't know that.
Yeah. All right. I
I ain't afraid no
gave
pie.
the dungeon master. Gave the dungeon master just doesn't have a great idea of how people are supposed to respond to a jelly person.
I mean, you can pat me down, but
I don't want to. I've heard tales of oozes, and you're not supposed to touch them no matter what.
yeah.
Okay, you keep your mystery pot, I suppose. You're right in the middle of camp, so like you can't do that
Just
much
got my
trouble.
This just got my clothes in it.
He needs a change
Okay.
of vests here and there. He can't wear the same vest every day.
What am I going
Oh,
to
alright,
do?
yeah,
Wear a
just a pot
spoiled
of-
vest from yesterday?
Pot full
No.
of vests. Got it.
He's not some dirty beatnik. We are musicians.
Oh, all right. Out you get. You stay here, big one.
As a
Um,
town full of people, they see the tallest dwarf they've ever seen with crop top armor. They see goo. They see a person with a scythe and an undead ferret, and then a guy in just a jumpsuit and boots. And that's our group.
I mean, this is. It's only
Bands come in
weird,
all
I think,
shapes
to
and sizes.
you, though, like Grace the player. I think this is a very normal adventuring party, minus the plasmoid. The plasmoid is a bit of a standout.
The plasmoid's a
I'm
bit
pretty-
weird, and I think
I'm
I
pretty
think I
standard
would,
as come.
as a regular person, I might take a pause at being told that they're not, in fact, an adventuring party, that they're a band, that they're some bards.
Sure.
But you know, bards and adventurers, they look very much alike. So who am I to cast aspersions?
We're just a bunch of normal musicians.
I did have one question. We keep referring to Thaddeus as the tallest dwarf. Thaddeus, where do you keep your height? Is it in your legs or in your torso? Where are you tall?
Or is it somewhere else?
Is it your neck?
Long biceps.
It's his nipples. They're the height of 3 nipples.
How does that help his overall? No.
Well, the chest has to compensate. It's not just the nipple, it's the whole chest portion where the nipple is 3 inches taller.
No, he just walks on the nipples.
Yeah, he
Okay.
isn't.
He's more torso than leg, which accentuates his like crop top chainmail armor currently.
Very good.
Like a cartoon
So-
character.
And I did not sign on for nipple extensions, just for the record. That was not part of my character backstory.
No one will.
Gotta watch out for technical difficulties, or you wind up with
Exactly.
characters you didn't
Triple nips.
choose.
We call them the old trip nips.
All right.
Yeah, Haribo jumps out of the cart. He's excited to play a show.
Yeah, all right. They lead you to the bonfire in the center of camp, still within sight of Thaddeus in the wagon.
Barson
I'd
in the
say
wagon, probably too.
Actually, Barson has left. Barson is with.
Larson has
Jansen.
left.
Oh, Barson split up the party.
Parsons with who?
Barson's with Jansen. Yeah, they're hashing out details, and Jansen's also doing official stuff. One of the hobgoblins has led you guys to the sort of the flat space in front of the fire where people dance or tell stories or perform or whatever.
While we're wandering over, Haribo would like to whisper to Sparkleoneous, now realizing that our hands are in Barson's hands, our lives at the moment are... I feel confident that we can perform, but Barson having to talk to this dude solo, so Haribo's gonna be like, I know he's your manager, but he has not given me the strongest vote of confidence. Are we to trust Barson that he can take care of this alone? Talking to Jansen there?
Don't worry. I hid all of his booze last night before I went to bed. He's bone dry sober right now. That's when Barson's at his most powerful.
All right. Oh.
He's gonna get us like 1,000 gold or something stupid like that.
Okay. Oh. All right. Good on you. Good on you, Spot.
I love that.
Okay. You know what?
I have full confidence in sober Barson.
Give him a second dice.
Perfect. And then I want to nudge the hobgoblin leading us. And I say, you've heard of Sparkleoneous, right? As we're walking.
Yes, I have.
Not you. The hobgoblin.
Actually, you do look kind of familiar.
Me.
No, not you. Him.
Oh no, him. That makes sense. I don't look familiar.
Oh.
Yeah, you maybe have seen the flyers. You know, we ship those around everywhere.
I think my bunkmate took one off of a hapless individual we encountered on the road a few weeks back.
Oh yeah, hapless individuals love my shows.
Yeah, we're on the Sundown Showdown tour, part 2, part 1. It's a little confusing.
It's still part 2.
Still part 2? We're on part 2.
Yeah.
No, I think we are on part 1, Sparkleoneous. You toured part 2 last year.
Yeah, but we're doing part 2 Redux, because I did part 1 back at the old city, and then I picked up a band, everything changes, so now it's part 2 but with a band.
Right.
Well, I'm really glad that you
Welcome to
made
part
your way
2.
out here. We don't get a lot of entertainment out this way. Hobgoblins are mostly just good at storytelling, and most of our stories are one note.
Well, we are beginning a little bit of a troupe, I would say. We dabble a little bit in theatrics, not ourselves, but our sister troupe, and ourselves, we are the musical arm.
Is that so?
It is.
There's a real cultural revolution happening out in this way. We should get together some kind of a festival. But anyways, here's the patch of ground. Bye.
I love our brain culture.
We'll call it the Sundowns Festival.
Could I get a bucket or a box, perhaps?
Sundowns.
I need a little bit of an ego boost.
Can't you stand on your pot?
All right, fine. And Sparkleoneous just stretches his legs just like an extra 4 or 5 inches. I hate doing this, but here we go. All right, everyone, are we ready?
So are they
Anyone need a
skinnier
note?
now? Are they skinnier legs?
Yeah, they're skinnier. They're skinnier and they wobble a little bit.
Is Sparkleoneous himself also skinnier?
Mm-hmm. Yep. All of me gets a little bit skinnier.
Do you still have
Except
the
for
pot
my little
inside of
Yep.
you?
It looks more like a beer belly now as opposed to being concealed.
Do the pebbles move up too when your face gets skinnier?
My face doesn't really stretch, it just gets skinny.
Okay.
So the pebbles kind of protrude a little bit.
Yeah, all of the goo to stretch had to come from somewhere.
And my ass isn't as big right now. Oh wait, I don't have the needle
you don't
in me
have-
yet.
you
I
don't
don't
have
have
a
to
booty yet.
I don't have to displace yet. I'll get that booty whenever we come back. That's my quest reward. All right, well, I'm going to make a performance check. Here I go. And also, who's got the lowest charisma score? I've probably gleaned that by this time in the journey.
Are you talking about like for our performance?
Probably good.
That tracks.
Probably Gib, actually, yeah.
Yeah, that tracks.
is
So,
a kobold. Let's see.
yeah, then Sparkleoneous is gonna do a nice tuning note for everybody. He's gonna just do a little, and that's gonna give Gib a motive potential as well as bardic inspiration. So
Yeah, let's talk about our
get-
positions on this. Talk to us about our stage. We're performing on a flat ground. This feels like it's something that we could continue. Like we're it sounds like we're going on tour. So our first
We're a
show
flat
is on a
ground
flat
band.
ground in front of a campfire. This is like like in GarageBand where you're
This
flipping through
it's a
the
big
places.
bonfire too.
Yeah.
Like it's not we're not campfire. This is roughly 100 individuals perhaps in this camp. So like it's a fairly big fire, and you've got a pretty good crowd. And just out of general interest, this is a new thing that's happening. So you've probably got 25, 30 folks in a loose semicircle. and you've got a big patch of trodden earth to set up on.
We help Gib
And
get
Spark-
set up in the back at least, because he has the stationary one, right? I'd imagine.
Sparkleoneous stepped to the front and then Slender manned himself.
Yeah. Gib is back like our, kind of like where the drum set would be if he were an actual drum set, because he's not moving around too much.
You and Gib need to be near each other, Haribo.
Yeah.
You guys are both sort of the backing track on this.
Yeah,
So there's 2 synths and 2 horns.
basically.
Yep.
And what
Yeah.
does mine sound like again?
That.
That, and like
that-
the
that's-
noise that
that's me.
Sparkleoneous keeps making is yours.
Oh, I thought that was his horn.
No, his is a normal trumpet.
Now, you've got a bike horn that can do a couple of different octaves or something.
Oh man.
Yeah, you've got and and
There, whoever does the sound, those are your notes. You can
you
make
don't
a
even
little.
need to do that one. Just put me in.
Just put me in. We're gonna put Lawrence on all 4 of these tracks.
Just cut those 6 notes that Lawrence just made and map them to 6 keys on a MIDI keyboard and just see what you can do.
And good luck.
Yeah, Haribo is more mobile than Gib. He'll be moving up and down. He has a little. He keeps the energy going because he's just playing with his belt. He's not trying to be weird. He's just being a synth on his belt. So he's kind of like hype man-ish also, moving around, trying to get the crowd going.
I like that. I think it's going to be group performance checks for everyone in the band.
Gib has
Hey.
bardic inspiration with advantage.
Bardic inspiration with advantage.
Yeah, it's a D6, and you can reroll
Oh,
that D6
okay.
and take the highest. That's my College of Creation thing.
Well, that's real good. That's real good that...
My performance check is really good.
all right.
Haribo got a 10.
Sparkleoneous with a 23.
Margery
Choice.
got a 14.
Not bad.
What did security get? How did you do, Dad? Security, how did you do on your performance check?
He has to look really.
If you want me to, all right, 16.
No, I'm just, I was.
Yeah, you know what?
As performing
Gotta
as
think
as
of a beat
security.
plot for Thaddeus. What is...
He's with the cart, right?
He is with the
Yeah.
cart.
And they
Dang.
are
All right,
bandits.
Thaddeus, let's do... I mean, if you're security, let's do like a perception check. You're watching the gear, you're watching the camp, keeping an eye out. You could do intimidation if you want.
All right,
Intimidation or perception.
let's do a 17 for intimidation. I'll just
Heck
be
yeah.
standing there with my arms crossed, looking like stay away from our equipment.
Yeah.
Yeah, you accomplish that goal flawlessly. I think you see a couple of different times some goblins or hobgoblins passing by, looking at your cart with some speculative eyes, and you look fierce at them, and they scurry away. Though at least
Excellent.
one of them does sort of pause further away and stare at the cart for like a long time before bouncing.
He gives you those squinted eyes where he's like, I'm watching your stuff. Leave it alone.
Yeah,
for
the
one
two of you,
fucking
the
second."
two of you watch each other for a minute.
He peeks back and
Eyeball
you're
in the
still making eye
eyeballs.
contact with him.
All right. As far as this performance goes, I think we got to start with the worst and see if we can make up for it. So, Gib rolled a dirty 1.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
He breaks several of the bowls.
But he does get his mode of inspiration, so he gets a total of 7.
Okay.
So he's
He
not.
only
He
breaks
doesn't.
one.
He doesn't break his entire instrument and then also set fire to the stage and you somehow.
It's good because this stage is the ground we stand upon.
oh yeah.
But I think now it becomes less of a playing with Gib and more of a drowning out Gib.
So
Plenty of great
Haribo,
songs have started with the sound of glass breaking.
that's true. I think Haribo
That's
is
true,
panicking the
that's
whole
true.
time. He's trying to make up for the glass shattering, and then there's like a little bit of a screeching sound because of the broken glass piece in there. And so Haribo starts trying to harmonize with that screeching sound with his synth. I think that's a solid 10, which is not a great noise, I imagine, to be harmonizing with. But if we can get dissonance going, maybe there's
I
something
do actually
there.
kind of like that. Like there's like a loud breaking of glass and then sort of a loud screech that then becomes the screech of your synth instead of Gib. It feels like the beginning of like a Metallica song a little bit.
I was feeling heavy metal for this as well, but I don't know where we're going to get with the rest of this.
I think for this one, Margery, unfortunately, you're just kind of there. Unless you've got ideas.
I mean, I rolled a 14, so I think what it sounds like is it's exactly how you imagine it, but slightly better. So like use your imagination that I have this horn and it could only do 3 notes. So it's not going to be good, but you're like, oh, but there's kind of something there. But
every now and then you can like
something.
Transition between 2 of the notes that it's not like
every once in a while I kind of make it work.
I think the key for you, Margery, is in the timing. You may only have 3 notes, but you know when to deploy them. And so you're just like jumping in there every now and again to get a few notes off, which I think leaves it mostly to Sparkleoneous and his glorious 23.
Coming in blasting with that solo. Ooh.
To bring it all home for us here.
So Sparkleoneous, of course, he's stretched, he's tall, and he is sort of shrinking his limbs back inside of himself back and forth, and whenever the limbs appear, they're casting prestidigitation up in the air to make fireworks, to spell out kissing booth, to sort of accent particularly discordant notes that become melody at the end. Sparkleoneous is just soloing up a storm, and then in between Sparkleoneous' solos, there's bits of synth that comes in to cover up Gib. There's a little bit of and a little bit of and it's just, he's killing it. He's going all over the place. He's the light show, he's the front man, he's very tall.
And I bet he looks great with all the firelight coming through him.
Oh yeah, if we're in between the semicircle and bonfire, that's just classic Sparkleoneous. He always performs with torches behind him.
Ooh, can Haribo add something to this moment while we're starting to kick ass with our song?
Yeah, music is collaborative.
Haribo, he's doing his he's pumping his arms in and out to synth, and then on an in, he created like a light ball a little while ago to produce light, and he like pulls it out in that same motion and just rolls it under Sparkleoneous so that when it lights up, it like hits underneath that water effect, and like shoots vaguely like disco ball-ish, except it's not as direct.
I like that. That's neat.
Mm-hmm.
This is quite the spectacle that we have dreamed up for these hobgoblins, and they've never seen anything like this. They are,
no one has.
I would say, there is a collective sort of drawing back the first time that we do prestidigitation or any of this sort of light show stuff. I think that there is sort of an awareness of and also a mistrust of magic. However, this magic isn't hurting anybody. It is just moving to the beat of this music, this show. As the performance goes on, they're getting more and more into it. And sort of by the crescendo, by the time we hit Sparkleoneous' sort of where it's just synth and Sparkleoneous doing like a solo, you see small knots of hobgoblins doing some sort of a circular dance among themselves.
Good job, team.
Yeah, good job, team. You guys finish out the song, and there's much hooting and cheering and throwing of meat on sticks.
Like towards us?
Yeah, towards you, woo, hooray.
Sparkleoneous catches as many of those as he can in his body.
Nice. It's a good number of them. Some of them go in the fire, some of them land amongst you guys. Gib is definitely scrambling around on the ground trying to
Haribo's catching and like eating meat. He catches and bites and then throws it back into the fire and catches another one.
Margery says, "No thanks, I've got some," and grabs some from within her cloak.
Old meat she pulls out from her satchel.
Okay.
Just reheat it real quick on the fire back here.
In my defense, I thought this was like dried meat.
It was, but we are traveling in open air, and dried meat does not actually last in the heat, and in the you have to still keep it.
I didn't know it was like hot. Okay, whatever. Fine. Yes, I'm still eating my meat, but I am dipping it in the sauce that I have because the sauce is probably still.
It was more of a joke of the age of dried meat, but anyway.
Okay. I think what ensues here is
got that sauce left over. Oh man, dipping it in Margery's sauce jars. Party up in here.
There's an opportunity here. We can continue playing music, we can continue performing, or we can say that we have sort of concluded the performance and sort of do some social interactions. If we want to talk to Jansen, if we want to explore camp a little bit, maybe make connections, if we want to see if we can bail and move on, gather information. I think we have an evening here, and And at some point, the only required thing is to sort of talk to Jansen about what comes next as far as us as a band.
Yeah, why don't we get a moment like breaking down and loading the cart back up with band supplies before we're partying, you know, like the sort of post, gotta put
We
away
can
your
check in
guitars
with
and drums and
Thadeus.
shit, you know.
Let him know how well we did.
That way we can figure out how to approach. Wow, guys, that was a fantastic show. We did not start off the best. I Gib and the Broken Bowl, but we certainly made it work. That happens, Gib. That happens. It is a finicky instrument that I have made for you.
I thought you did great, Gib.
Yeah.
Really brought the house down. If there was a house to bring down, you would have brought it down.
It's like you guys told me, no matter what happens, just keep playing. Keep hitting the instrument.
Keep hitting it in
You
Margery.
did
That's how you learn.
3 to
That's how I
5
learn.
notes and you have killed it. We still don't have the number on how many notes you have, but you can definitely play those 3 to 5 notes.
Thank you. I just, just pressed them. I didn't know it's the only option. Every once in a while I got it right.
Yeah.
Press and squeeze, that's the trick.
So,
Yeah,
are
what
we
is-
going to
what do they
continue
want
this
from us?
ruse, or do we dip now?
I mean, we could at least find out who their friends are, I suppose. Who they potentially are inviting us to. You know, sort of ruins the whole surprise factor. But, it's just a different kind of surprise. Delayed surprise.
I mean, if
Perhaps.
Jansen is the quartermaster, or did he say he knows the quartermaster?
He says
think
he
said
knows.
He is? I don't know.
Jansen said that he was the quartermaster of this camp.
Oh, well, this
Sparkleoneous right again.
He might
Or
have some
is,
say.
yeah.
Maybe he can get us in the door as we've gotten in here, right? We were allowed to play here in front of the bonfire. If we can get in the door in the mountain, maybe that'll give us a lay of the land before we figure out how to do what we need to do and rescue these. Do what we need to do. Play the right show. I look around to make sure no one's listening.
No one's listening. Okay, so it sounds like it would be a good idea to talk to Jansen just about logistics, where we're going, when we're going, if we're going, all that. And I suppose if any of you want to sort of try and gather information from people who might not be as suspicious of your gathering of information as Jansen might be, could be wise.
Yeah, we should most definitely attend the gathering they are setting up over there this evening. Maybe play a solo song here or there, keep the ruse going, see what we can finagle from them, maybe about their forces or the layout of the mountain. Any information really might be helpful.
Yep, good idea.
All right.
And did you say, well, if we're doing solo performances, we should make sure that we're split up in a way that should there be a solo performance, it won't bomb based on our
Yeah,
performance
Sure,
checks?
sure. I more just mean to maintain the ruse of musician throughout the night, right? I have often seen, Ludimus when he is partying in the bar here or there to rip out the lute and play a song when he is enjoying himself. Just
Yeah,
more to maintain the
I'm
ruse.
going to keep a hold of my horn in one hand, and I'm going to keep a hold of Gib in the other hand. Come along,
What?
Gib. I need backup. We gotta go find Barson, and of course.
you need it from me?
Yes, of course.
Gib, I know we do not live here, but please don't cause a trouble here. This would be a rough one. This would be a rough one, Gib.
Yeah, they'd kill you, Gib, probably.
There's no getting out of this one.
And then they
Yeah.
probably kill us.
Gib shoots a look to you, Margery.
Yeah, I think I agree with Haribo. I think we should lay low. We should keep.
Oh no, this was like a discreet look. This was like a
Oh.
hey.
And she's openingly saying, "Don't."
No, that's just why I was cutting in. Yeah, he rolled a 21 on his stealth to sort of keep his affiliations mum there. But he's looking to you for permission, Margery.
I subtly nod my head and he's right. Listen to him. We gotta lay low.
All right. I won't steal anything that doesn't look too tempting.
Well, if you're with Sparkleoneous, check in with him first, and then maybe you'll see.
I make a great hiding spot.
We'll make a great team then.
Hey, you can hide inside my cauldron if you need to.
Can he fit in the pond?
I'm pretty sure he can't. At least not with everything else that's in that pot.
Just dump it out.
Yeah, that's true. I think we could cram Gib into that pot if it was.
All right.
What a,
Yeah,
what,
Harbo's gonna
what
go find a
good
drink.
move.
Hey, Gib, how long can you hold your breath?
Oh God.
No, I can send him a tube. I just think that's so funny.
I mean, crocodiles can hold their breath for a really long time.
That'd
How
be
did
cool if
Gib
Gib was
become a crocodile?
Isn't he some sort of? Is he a lizard?
You
or-
imagine a caiman. That doesn't mean
Oh.
that. Yeah.
So he's a
crocodiles definitely can hold their breath for up to an hour in D&D actually, but he's not crocodile.
So can Sparkleoneous.
Oh, crocodiles are in D&D.
Yeah, there's crocodiles in D&D. There's all the regular animals.
That's cool. I didn't know that. I thought it was just.
They're
fancy
usually
animals.
bigger. Oftentimes the beasts and things come at a larger size.
Oh, that's
We
neat.
just haven't really run into them. Yeah, no giant crocodiles, no giant insects. I keep thinking about it as I watch my nature documentaries. Like, how could I make this bigger and horrible for the players to get used to? At some point, I'm going to put in a giant velvet worm, and then we're going to have a party.
No.
Nar.
Okay, so Sparkleoneous and Gib are gonna socialize and also noodle around on their respective instruments.
I want to go and try and like grab a seat around the campfire, schmooze the local populace.
Yeah, Haribo is gonna dip from the wagon and his crew and go look for a few hobgoblins with some drinks. See if he can get his hands on a drink to share with some of these folks.
Excellent, excellent. Margery, Thaddeus.
Thaddeus is going to stay with the cart to protect their gear and to be ready at a moment's notice if he needs to bring forth equipment to his party members.
Thaddeus is just not letting his guard down. All right.
He's security.
So I have a clarifying question. When you were first describing the encampment, you said there wasn't really opportunities for Urshdom, so there's no way.
Are you sure?
No, I'm saying so. Like, there's no like. If I'm just wanting to like generally observe the like, I don't have a specific place I want to go. I kind of just want to people watch and just see what I see. Would that be because of how the campment is? That would be like overly suspicious. There's not enough crowds to just kind of meander.
I mean, you can always like go to the end of a circle, you know, and sort of lean up against a post. It's always an edge
Yeah,
of
I
a
mean,
room.
you can't. There's no dark corner to hide behind and like peek out at everybody.
No, I'm not thinking hiding. I'm just like, maybe I pull over and I'm like journaling, but I'm not really journaling. I'm like kind of just looking at people, but it looks like I'm just sitting in the sun journaling or sitting in the trees because we're in the shade of the trees or wherever we are.
Yeah, I think.
So I think you can learn a lot about a place just by watching.
Yeah,
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
that's
That's,
definitely
sort
a
of
Margery way to do it too.
the thrust of an insight check. I think you perhaps pick up a mug of whatever is being passed around, and then you post up at a less crowded corner of camp with your journal. Maybe you're sketching the scene around the fire while you're observing the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
Okie doke. Let's see then. Where do we want to start?
Another thing that I
Win
would
him
like to
over.
bring back up, we stopped doing it because I really liked the one I was on, but I've been thinking lately that it hasn't happened, and it could be time for a refresher. That doesn't mean I'll never get it again, but of the like missions, the like bi-session
I
missions.
I forgot my mission.
Yeah, I was enjoying those, but I think after this point, it's kind of, I'm ready for a new one. I could switch it up. I liked looking for a named weapon, but I was, hunting one sort of random encounter too much rather than just enjoying a random mission.
Yeah, I agree. Those are fun.
Super here for that, and while we have a moment here, whoever wants to re-up on player goals, give me those
yeah.
two numbers I love so much.
I would love, is that 2d10s?
Yes, indeed.
That's going to be a 10 and a 5, or a 0 and a 5. No, it's a 10 and a 5.
I have a 9 and a 5.
No, it would have to be 0 and 5. 10 and 5 isn't a thing on 2d10s. Has to be 0 and 5.
0 and 5, be adjacent to at least 3 enemies at once.
Done. Done. Success. Give me new player goal, please.
They aren't your enemies yet.
Damn.
Got him.
Just kidding.
The energies real quick.
It's true. You don't have to win. You don't have to win the fight.
The moment it starts, I win my player goal, but lose everything else.
Margery, gamble over half your loot.
I don't like gambling.
No, you might win.
But
Because here's what I'll say is that you're gambling against me, and I'm not very good at gambling.
Gambling is
Yeah.
luck.
It's supposed to be weighed in the favor of the house.
Right, but we're also playing a game right now where you can't control the deck. It's like a roll of a dice, right?
Basically. I think it depends. Like, if I knew more gambling games, I might be able to.
I mean, you could
Stack
do
the
it
deck in
with
my
like a
favor.
high-low roll, but like change high-low to like, 11 and down to like stack it towards the house or whatever. If you ever wanted, to like make it easy but not super intense. Do you guys have player goals still, Sparkleoneous and Thadeus?
Yeah.
Yeah, 6 and 10 from Thaddeus.
You know what? I think I would like a new one.
What was your
All
old
right.
one?
I think it's on my old character sheet that got deleted, so.
Oh,
Ooh, one away. I got 6 and 8.
so close.
I think we know what 69 is, actually.
Yeah, we've gotten it, I think.
6 and 10 is 2 crits in a row.
Oh, all right. Challenge accepted.
6 and 8 is start a new hobby.
Sparkleoneous turns to the guy on his left.
So anyway, I was thinking about taking up whittling. You guys got anything I could whittle with?
Isn't
No?
Arson your whittler?
Alright. Yeah, I'm going to take it from Boss. Reclaiming my independence.
You don't have like a knife?
No, I had to leave that in the wagon.
Oh, well that makes sense. But yeah, whittling's not that hard. Here, look.
He gives me the knife and I stab him with it.
Oh no!
I don't do that.
I also win my character goal at that moment.
Yeah, he picks up a chunk of wood off the ground and he makes a few different notches and cuts in it, and lo and behold, there's a rudimentary face sort of emerging out of the end of this wood.
Oh, that's great.
That easy.
Whose face is that?
Not sure yet. You gotta add more detail before you figure out who it is.
I'm learning so much.
Yeah, you sort of let it emerge from the wood. Okay.
He's watching. He's consuming the whittling. He's learning.
Is he
A new hobby.
And then later I will consume the whittling.
Okay. Thaddeus, you're hanging out at the wagon, keeping an eye on all the stuff.
Yes, indeed.
I think you do attract a small knot of like goblins and hobgoblins coming to the head of
Okay.
the wagon to like ask you questions about life on the road.
Okay.
Give me a perception check with disadvantage.
Oh dear. All right. With disadvantage, it's a nat 1.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Okay. Then I think, Thaddeus, you are pleased to receive this attention. You were not expecting to receive questions or praise as part of this performance ruse that you guys put up. But here you are, and they want to know what it's like being the hired muscle for such talented folks. Margery, you're watching the fire, and you're like sketching the scene, and as you cast your eyes around the camp, you see Thaddeus with his knot of question askers. And how about you give me a perception check? In fact, you can give me a perception check with advantage, since that's the entire thing that you're doing.
Oh heck yeah!
Watching.
Listen, I like to watch. Okay, what am I pluses for
Voyeuring.
perception? Oh, sorry. I wish I hadn't said that. That's a dirty 20.
Okay. With the dirty 20, you see a few things. You see Jansen drawing something in the dirt with Barson and Haribo sort of standing and watching. You see a group of hobgoblins sort of on the other side of the fire. Sort of, it looks like they're reenacting the band performance. They're trying to figure out what instruments can be constructed from what they have around in the camp. They've definitely got percussion worked out, but they're trying to figure out anything else. And you also see, while Thaddeus is answering questions, you see a figure in a robe hop themselves up over the side of the wagon and down into it, out of sight.
How far away am I from them?
60 feet. The wagon is over by the entrance to the camp, and you are almost dead center in the camp, off to one side of the fire.
Okay, then I'm gonna quickly scoot over to where Jansen and Haribo are standing, and I'm gonna say, hey, your people are trying to rob us, trying to hop into our cart and steal our stuff. Is there anything you can do about that? Make them stop, please. To
Okay.
Jansen. Isn't he in charge?
Jansen, is this true? I look up from whatever he was drawing in the sand. What is he drawing in the sand?
Yeah, we hadn't gotten to that scene yet.
Oh, sorry.
No, this.
No, I was just gonna cut it off there and go back and start over from the other perspective.
Perfect.
Oh, go for it.
Yeah, Haribo, you've expressed some misgivings about leaving everything in the hands of Barson, despite his sobriety. And so once the show's over, you do want to go and just check in and see,
I mean,
what the Wheels of Power are up to.
I can. I expressed that. It was told me it was good, so I was going to find a drink. I wasn't. I was going to be social. Yeah. I'm not. I don't mind talking to Jansen though. I'm down. I'm just. I do.
Well, since I have already described it,
Barson, I don't care, but.
Okay, well, we can cut that bit.
Leave that
Pick
in.
up a drink, and picking up a drink has you near enough to Jansen and Barson then to sort of pick up that Jansen is sort of describing like the setup of the camp and sort of the logistics of the camp in like the whole of all of the hobgoblin stuff. And you at least pause for long enough to, because he's drawing in the dirt, and you pause and you see that he's sort of drawing a rudimentary map, the mountain in the east, and then a series of like X's in a rough semicircle around the mountain to the west. And he's talking about these are our camps. We're expanding to out to the west.
What is west from here? Just so we know for like is that Decrum? That towards
Decrum is west from where you guys are at. Between Decrum and here is some flat ground and then the forest.
Cool. Just to make sure I know.
Yeah, he's talking about how wars of conquest are great, but their leader has a plan to sort of expand in a more measured sort of settlement style expansion rather than trying to take a bunch of territory and then worry about claiming it or keeping it. And he's talking to Barson about the best route in. I think he says you can either try and hit a couple more camps on your way in, build a repartee, or you can follow this road, and he points at a different one that goes straight into the mountain. You'll have to persuade the mountain guards that you've got business there. I'll definitely give you my note of insurance, but you'll have to see how much good my name alone is there. It'll do you some good.
And Haribo comes up to the conversation and he says, and pass up an opportunity to get our name out there? Absolutely not. If your name might not get us up the mountain pass, might you send along word to the next camp that we could be coming and maybe play for them, and we can continue our journey right up the road through your friends' camps and up to the mountain. Play everyone. Everyone deserves to hear our sound.
I can do you one better. I can send a member of our camp along with you to announce your presence, to vouch for you among the other camps.
A herald. I would love a herald. If anything we're missing, it's a hype man.
And I think Barson is saying something along the lines of, well, if we've got the route figured out, then let's get around to the meat and potatoes of negotiating our fee. And then
Dang.
Margery sidles on up and says, someone is attempting to rob our cart. Please do something about it.
Whoa, Jansen, is this true?
I mean, I've been here with you. I'll be very disappointed in the camp if it turns out to be true. Only one way to find out, I suppose. And he snaps his fingers, and 3 hobgoblins who were hanging out in the background of the shot straighten up and follow Jansen to the cart. And when they see this group approaching the cart, all of the various hangers-on and question askers retreat a few paces away from Thadeus. Thadeus, what have you told these people?
It's nothing too far from the truth, because it's basically the same, that I'm the muscle that protects my flamboyant friends who are performers. And, it's a rough gig because they're the artsy types and I'm the one who has to do all the hard work.
Nice. I think they're suitably impressed. Some of the young bucks are asking for an arm wrestling match with the protector of the band, but they all sort of scamper back when this group shows up. And Jansen says, I've just been given a disturbing report that items are being stolen from your wagon.
What?
Right beneath your very nose, it would seem. So let's see what we got.
Yeah, Margery, why don't you tell us what you saw?
I saw someone in a cloaked individual, hop into the back of the wagon from over there, and I pointed like where it's a very clear line of sight from where I had been drawing.
Thaddeus would want to jump up into the wagon and look.
I think it's pretty obvious once you look that there is someone in the wagon trying to disguise themselves as a bundle of trade goods or something.
Hey, You're not a barrel.
If they were a sleeping pile of blankets, we never would have found them.
We would have
That's
never
right,
seen them for a
that's
whole
right.
episode at least.
And so I suppose, Thaddeus, you whip the cloak back to
Yes.
reveal a hobgoblin. And I think most of these hobgoblins are kitted out for physical combat. They've either got bows slung over their shoulders, or they've got cruel hooked swords at their belts. This one seems more... they've got a belt with pouches of something, different pouches on their belt. They've got like a sash with various little totem things. And Jansen looks in and says, "Kendra, what are you doing in the wagon?" And he turns to Haribo and he says, I'm so sorry about this. This is our warcaster, Kendra. What are you doing in this wagon?
I would
And
like to
Kendra-
answer, Kendra.
Kendra says, "I'm tired of conquest. I want to see the world. I want to explore. They make such great music. Imagine the places this music might take them." And Jansen says, "Kendra, you are a member of this family. You are a member of this tribe. What have we said about getting into strange wagons?"
Don't.
Kendra says, "Don't get into strange wagons. Only
How
get
old
into
is-
tribe wagons."
How
Unless we're
old does
killing.
Kendra look? Oh, fair enough.
Are there familial features between her and Jansen?
No, Jansen's
Okay.
a gnome.
Oh.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Jansen's a gnome. It's mostly goblins and hobgoblins in this camp. I think a
And-
couple of more brigandly-looking humans.
Kendra is a
salt and
goblin?
peppered around. Kendra is a hobgoblin. Yes.
Hobgoblin. Okay, hobgoblin. Okay.
You know, we can play this off to Jansen. This is totally out of character, that we're used to groupies, and this is not any big concern for her. And if she would like to stay and meet the group, we can arrange that and diffuse whatever seems to be occurring here. But that's not really a Thaddeus pitch. That's
I got you.
a Michael as a player pitching it to our hype man Haribo.
I like that. All right, cool. Haribo says, Now, Jansen, it's totally fine. We have traveled quite a ways. When I met Sparkleoneous the first time, I myself jumped on as a groupie as well, and now I find myself here. We have traveled far and wide, and she is right. We do see a lot. This is not the first time. Come on out here. He said your name was Kendra. Feel free to meet us. We are not, unapproachable.
She sort of sheepishly climbs down from the wagon. She says, "All right, I just wanted to see the world, you know." Sparkleoneous, where are you at? You and Gib.
We're still over by the fire. I mean, if there's a commotion, we've probably wandered over hand in hand.
Come on, dude.
You did mention that we needed some form of herald. If Kendra is trying to get out and see the world, why not kill two birds, one stone? Could have Kendra herald for us.
Yeah, I love
Sparkleoneous, this is
I'd-
our lead man.
I'd love to have a herald, but you said your name is Kendra. Oh, you mean herald like the position? Yes. So,
She can be our Kendra.
Kendra to announce our arrival. No need to. It seems that you were trying to sneak your way in the cart. That's all right, but there's not quite enough room in the cart for everyone. Honestly, aren't we going to camps that are affiliated with your group? I mean, I'm all for going out and seeing the world, but I think we might be seeing. It might be some time before we go and see the world.
We are currently entering into your world.
And
Yeah,
we're going
the
to be
world
spending
we're
some
seeing
time in
is-
here, it seems like.
The world we're seeing is in here. Okay.
But damn, after that, the world's your oyster, or our oyster, and you
want
can
us
join
to
us.
swing by and pick you up after, or?
Let's adopt another character.
Jansen steps in here and he says, "That would not be acceptable.
Okay, not my
Strict
idea.
rules. All goblins are of one family and gotta stay together."
Yeah, but she's a hobgoblin.
I mean, say the second two syllables of that word for me, real quick. For me, yeah.
Hob.
Are they not different? They're this is an imp thing. They seem different. They're different.
One goblin, one family. I'm not
Ohana,
gonna.
okay?
Yeah, Ohana,
Ohana
Okay.
means goblin.
and goblin means goblin. However, the leader has said that it is important for our magicians to be well-rounded. Kendra, if you think you can pick up a thing or two We all saw they was using magics during their performance. If you think there's something you can learn, if you think you can help them out while they're in our camps, keep them out of trouble, you think you're up to that? And Kendra doesn't say anything, but she just nods a lot.
Oh, you're saying that she can't, like, leave with us forever, but while we're traveling camp to mountain.
Free travel within our world.
Oh, sure.
But,
yeah, Kendra.
if you want to go farther, we got to make the world bigger.
Mighty big world out there already. No doubt, no doubt, no doubt.
Plenty of room, plenty of camps to travel around in.
Yeah.
All right, Kendra, you've got the job. Who wants to make an insight check on how Kendra's feeling about this?
I think
17.
I rolled an 18.
17, 18. This is what she wanted. This is not how she wanted to get it.
We can talk on the road.
Yeah, I mean, I think the rest of the evening is a party, is perhaps indulging in some goblin culture. Haribo, you're somewhat familiar with this, but this is, many more individuals in the camp. Is sort of a much more rigid a little bit and structured goblin society than perhaps you saw amongst the tribe that you are more familiar with.
Is the plan, I guess we have to make sure that Barson checks in with our pay or fee, but is the plan in the morning to go to the next camp and just kind of...
Yeah, we need to keep moving towards the mountain is our overall goal, is to keep making progress.
That makes sense. I mean, the fastest way is definitely to just head straight towards the mountain, but it sounds like the way we're going to go is we're going to hit a couple more camps at least on our way.
kind of extend this ruse as long as we can.
Impromptu tour.
Yeah, Sparkleoneous and Barson are suddenly unexpectedly in their element.
Right.
We're going to make so much money because there's no bar for Barson to spend it at.
That is true. What is our pay?
Raw profit.
I think our pay is probably a small to moderate amount of money, some sort of a proof of
Proof of passage.
yeah, proof of passage, something from Jansen that says we're cool.
He gave us a pop.
You got back your hand stamped or whatever. And then also filling in of our map where the surrounding camps are at.
Like it.
Yeah. I think as far as the pay goes, each of you would take like 5 gold.
Nice.
Even Gib gets 5 gold.
That's a fortune for Gib.
It is a fortune for Gib. He is excited. He's never had gold for himself ever.
Does that include security? Do we get paid as well?
Yes.
Okay.
I think you guys made enough for each member of the group to get 5 gold.
Nice.
Except for Barson.
Huge. Sparkleoneous and Barson split their cut. Barson can have 2 gold.
Okay. Anything else we want to do during this evening of partying?
Nothing is coming to my mind right away. I don't know about anybody else.
The only thing is we would want to set up some sort of watch over the wagon. Either that or Thadeus will stay up all night and watch the wagon, but then he's going to sleep while we're on the road.
No, you stayed up last time. Haribo can stay up.
I don't even know if Sparkleoneous would even want to stay here for the night.
That's a good point, actually, yeah.
Yeah.
I think Sparkleoneous, if no one else has anything to do, I think as the night is winding down, Sparkleoneous will hop up on the wagon with Gib on his shoulders, and Sparkleoneous is going to say to the crowd,
All right, everyone, you've been a great audience. So great, we're even taking one of you with us. But a tour is usually in a circle, so we'll be back around a week or whatever. We'll see how long the tour takes. But we'll be back for another show and we'll have some new songs ready for you. But we've got to get going so we can get towards that next gig, everyone. We've been the Kissing Booth.
General applause. Jensen's like, you sure you don't want to come with us? You don't want to stay here? Safety in numbers.
We've got some number of people.
Yeah, we've got to get on the road. Got a number
Can't
of
argue
camps.
with that, I suppose.
Driving through the night has its perks.
I can't think of a single one, but okay.
When you wake up, you're somewhere else.
There it is. Fair enough. Kendra, I thought that they were going to stay with us, but I suppose they want to camp to themselves. Yeah, I guess you go with them. And Kendra almost skips into your wagon.
Welcome to the team.
Yeah.
So, Kendra, do you play any instruments?
No?
We can build you
Do I
one.
need to? Oh,
It's just an option, you know, picking up a new skill. I'm picking up whittling.
Are you?
Yeah, I guess
Okay.
so.
I mean, you know,
I do want XP.
it's something to do on the road.
Now, could you
Yeah.
pass me that bucket? You're going to love what I do with it.
I don't like the sound of this already, but yeah, I mean, she does. She does pass you the bucket.
Sparkleoneous jumps straight in.
Yeah, he does that. That's where he likes to sleep.
Do you just leave your pot behind when you do that? Is it just like a pot next to?
Yeah, I sort of like jump, and the pot stays firmly on the ground, and I slurp into the bucket.
Have
Does
you ever
the
seen?
vest stay on top as a blanket?
Yeah, the vest sort of covers the top of the bucket, and I can look out. I can look out through the neck hole.
Just two rocks.
Yep.
You pebbles.
They don't. It's not even what you used to see, but they are still there.
Mm-hmm.
It's for our sake.
Sparkleoneous loves a good visual gag, and it's a visual in multiple ways.
Emphasis on gag.
You guys retreat from the hobgoblin camp without a fight, and you guys set up camp. Kandra is very helpful in this respect. Has a fire going lickety split. Offers to assist anyone who seems to need assistance with the erection of tents. Offers to help with watch. Just is attempting to be generally useful.
I think that we can take watch this evening. Appreciate your excitement, but believe it is my turn tonight. I think after a few charges, we might indeed put you in charge, but you can understand. We should get to know each other first before we put you in charge of our stuff. But if you'd like to stay awake and tend fire, we can exchange stories throughout the evening.
Yeah, that could be nice. Yeah, I think that's sort of how the night winds down. Anything anyone wants to do other than Haribo before crashing?
Thaddeus would tend to his gear, make sure everything's prepared, do his nightly prayer ritual to his deity, and then wind down.
When we make camp, do we all have individual tents? What's the vibe? I mean, we have a cart, so having tents is not out of the realm. I'm just curious,
Barson-
like...
Barson and
Barson sleeps in the
Sparkleoneous
wagon.
cart.
Barson and Sparkleoneous stay in the cart.
Yeah, I mean, Sparkleoneous has got a pot.
Oh, we've pulled over. I thought we were riding through the night.
I mean, we can ride through the night. It's not against it, but I think we just mostly wanted to make camp away from the hobgoblins so that we weren't surrounded by, just in case they wanted to pull something in the night, like we wouldn't be in their camp. But mostly just to stop, like, it seems like we're past the point of driving every night, that we might be camping in between things so that we can get our proper rest in between each of these places, because I think that while we are imagining that we're about to be playing a tour in between all these camps, that we should also be aware that any one of these camps could be a full scrum.
Are we in a woods area or are we like open plains?
Open plains.
Yeah, then I guess, I mean, I don't think I have a tent in my inventory. So I think I just have a bedroll.
Bedroll? Yeah.
Haribo does have a single person tent that he generally sets up, and you can have it tonight. Like, he can set it up for you, Margery, because he knows he's not sleeping. He's on watch, so
That's nice.
or not
And
sleeping.
where's
Like,
Gib?
what rest he does get will be in the thing. Like, he doesn't need his full tent for the night.
Gib curls up like a cat next to wherever Marjorie's sleeping.
Outside of Margery's tent.
That's so cute. My little minion.
I would definitely like to converse with Kandra throughout the evening. I noticed that she has a slew of like unguents and oils and potions, I think is what you said.
Yeah, I think sort of what if that's sort of the initial ask that you're sort of opening conversation with, I think that her explanation sort of amounts to she is a spellcaster for the hobgoblins, but she doesn't have like a particular arcane focus. So like she needs all of this to do her magic.
Yeah, I imagine that everyone needs all of this to do what they say they do. Yeah, I think I'm more interested in like how each of these things are reacting, because I see that you're not hiding behind the pomp and circumstance I've seen other, and he does throw up the air quotes, of spellcasters do, but you are indeed relying on, the sort of natural reactions upon these things. And you still, and there's like a little bit of a silence, and he's like, you still think that you are casting magic?
It's hard to know how to respond to that. Think I'm casting magic. Maybe my grasp of common isn't what I thought it was. I know that I'm casting, like, the magic just happens.
Right. No, it's hard to. I'm kind of new around this area, and I think where I'm from, the way that we deal with these big reactions that you folks call magic is through the base understanding that whatever is causing them is two things sort of interacting, at least two things. Sometimes it's many, many more. But, as the simplest thing, we put thing A and thing B together and they cause an explosion. I've seen this time and time again here, right? And you have all sorts of these ingredients. I'm just curious. I don't know. It seems so straightforward for me that you are just putting two pieces together. I don't know. I'm curious. Maybe this in exchange of common and goblin that I have picked up is not going perfectly. I understand these conversations don't, but
I think I understand where you're coming from. I suppose if all that I had ever seen was the reaction of substances touching each other, if all I'd ever seen was a grenade, I wouldn't understand a wand or an amulet or anything like that. Okay, here. And she rummages around in her belt, and she pulls out like a small vial and also like a little bag of powder. And she opens up the bag of powder and
little spoon. All right, now let's talk about magic.
And she... Oh, you've poisoned my mind.
Now try to think of a different way to use this powder.
Okay, there's the scene. She hands you the bag of powder and the vial, and she says, you can take these, and you can combine them in any way that you can think of. But if you just use these two parts, you'll never get the full equation. Like, you're on the right track, it sounds like to me. But there's a third part in the magic, and that's the power. The components give it shape, give it a form to fill, mold maybe. But the power itself, that's what fuels the magic. For me, it comes from me, and I let it out through these chemicals. You can combine them in any which way, but you won't be able to produce the effect that I can because you won't have that third part. She takes the vial back from you, and she pops the cork out, and she drips a few drops just on her hand. She corks it and gives it back to you, and she takes a pinch of the powder and she sprinkles it, and then she holds up her hand, and like electricity, sparks of voltage arc from finger to finger just on the hand here. But you can't do that.
Haribo holds up his hand and sparks of electricity travel up his belt and down his arm and then bounce in between each of his fingers because Haribo currently has the cantrip Shock and Grasp. Of his belt.
That's the one that I was doing. Yeah.
Haribo goes channeling the electric. He says, "I indeed can. I guess our like electrics are like looking. They're doing the same thing. They're bouncing off each other." He's like,
"If we were sitting close enough, they would be interacting." Yeah.
This is exactly what I sort of am meaning. Is that there is a third ingredient. In my case, I have figured out those three ingredients and figured out how to continuously get them interacting when I need them to. Might be more than three in my case, but in your case, if it is three, that is fantastic if we can get it down to three, but we need to figure out what that third ingredient is. If you know for a fact what these two ingredients are, that third ingredient comes from somewhere. And if we can figure out...
I already told you, it comes from me.
That's interesting, because mine does not come from me. Mine comes from the interaction of all of these things.
It doesn't have to. That third ingredient does have to come from somewhere. It doesn't necessarily have to come from you.
And from the wagon, Sparkleoneous shouts,
"And it doesn't come from God."
I was about to talk about, folks, that it comes from God, but looks like Sparkleoneous has got it covered.
You can think what you want to think. But in the wagon there is no God.
Hey, do you speak for Barson?
It's the heathen wagon. Yeah, no god, yeah.
This is, as the clamor dies down and the crackle returns, he says, this is exactly the roadblock I continuously hit. I have found myself in conversation with a number of, more rather intellectual folk around this area and in this place. I find myself, like yourself, who have a grasp on what they are doing, but have a different explanation for how it is happening. And maybe, one day I will see that happen for myself, but I have yet to. I have yet to see that spark of what I cannot understand. While I do not yet understand it all, I think I can. I just have to have the right study or the right thing. Nothing has struck me as, that yet. But I do appreciate your input. It is conversations like this how I continue to grow my understanding of it.
Wielders of magic, at least, like the 3 or 4 that I've ever talked to, I think they all sort of have a moment in common. They all have that, that moment where they realize something fundamental about their power. And generally, that's the moment that the power is manifested. That's usually how it happens, but not always, I suppose. So you'll have your moment. It'll come. Just gotta, be patient for it, I suppose. Or go looking. You seem like the kind of guy that might like to just go looking.
I'd like to find it myself.
Maybe you just start sticking your nose in places.
I'm good at that. I'm good at that. Does she remain up with Haribo throughout his watch?
No. I think she'll stay up for like another half an hour or so, just kind of, shooting the shit or sitting in companionable silence.
Yeah, he's a little disconnected, I think, from the rest of that. And once he's left alone, it's definitely not set in for him yet. But he is. I recall how intense I felt when we lost Gib, and so Haribo got intense in that moment too. Just thinking about what Haribo actually said. Was bring him back. So I think that Haribo is having a moment where he is remembering that he did, in fact, actually ask Margery for more than he should have, or that's not something that he could have done, right? That's not something that he could have just understood how it was about to happen or whatever. He asked Margery to perform something that he did not grasp. And so that is setting in for him that something has possibly happened with Gib and Margery, and he wants to talk to Margery a little bit more about what she did to Gib, how she healed him when he was hurt in this way.
That's tasty.
But it's dark,
and
everyone's
then how did you unhurt him?
Player Grace is gonna have to do some research before our next session, because I don't know.
This will be a fun conversation. I would also like a moment while Haribo is at the thing. I remembered one thing I did want to do, and that is a moment of taking in the situation, because he's being surrounded by a lot of people speaking Goblin right now, and it is important for him to try to learn Goblin. So he wants to see if he can pick up any language from this evening. That's most of what he was attempting to do while he was being social, is try to be social so he can pick up language.
Instinct says a flat intelligence check, unless you can think of a relevant intelligence skill that.
I mean, for me, the only pitch I would have is investigation, because I am focused on doing this for the evening. That was my focus of the socializing, getting one drink and not drinking all of it, so that I am aware enough to.
I could see investigation. I could also see an argument for Arcana if you were somehow using the belt to record.
I think that's a fantastic, sort of my knowledge technology check that we've been making up.
Yeah, I would I think Arcana would probably be the other one that I investigation, Arcana, or flat intelligence.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
But which one are you going with?
I'm gonna roll the investigation through my belt. I like that being sort of my anchor, like recording bits in here so I can like play them back when it's a little private. I can pick up words here. That is in fact a natural 20.
Way to go. Yeah, then I think that you had the presence of mind with a natural 20. I think you had the presence of mind to turn on the recording function of your belt, like as you were getting out of the wagon.
Yeah. When we were setting up.
Mm-hmm. And you just had it rolling. And I think perhaps with like space technology, I could definitely see the belt giving you sort of like a hooked on phonics as it is sort of matching up phrases and things in the camp. I could see the rest of the evening playing out like the belt saying words in Goblin and you trying to translate and helping the belt figure out what they mean and sort of establishing a dictionary between the two of you.
Very much Duolingo.
Yeah,
Hey,
no,
are
it's
you ready to do
Duolingo,
study?
but it's like
God,
two.
shut up.
It's two parts. Like it's the blind leading the blind a little bit because you have to tell the belt what these things in Goblin mean, and so I don't know that the result is perfect, but it will get better the more often you do this.
Yeah, I mean, I've been struggling with how to pick up Goblin. I've attempted once or twice in our campaign now to like do a check or two to pick up a word or two while we've been chatting with goblins. But this is the first time it's done well, where I've been able to utilize the belt and the technology I've improved upon it to help.
Yeah,
with this.
I think now you have a bad auto translate.
Yeah. I like that. I like that.
But like a bad auto translate that will grow as you grow and like figure out what's going on with it.
Yeah, the goal is learn Goblin.
If
We're
you
getting
sit,
a translating AI and we're training it with the data set of goblins. Got it.
Yep, and we're also teaching goblins modern technology.
And we're teaching them. Wait, is it the goblins, the kobolds that we're teaching Shakespeare?
Kobolds.
The kobolds.
Kobolds get art.
we
Goblins
love
get
culture.
technology.
But yeah, we're doing it the hard way though with the kobolds. No cheating, no shortcuts. Just text on a page.
You better get off
Here's
book.
the script. So the first thing that I created with my mode of potential was the script of the Merchant of Venice.
College of creating this script. Get off book.
And I think with the shot of Haribo and his belt talking in rough Goblin, you know, and we look up at the stars.
Show one.
Softly from the wagon.
Play that funky music, white boy.
Good night, Boston.
We see a brief selection of scenes. We see Mondane in his room at the top of his tower. He's standing in front of a table and looking down on it. We can't see what's on the table, but we do see a thus far uncharacteristic frown on his face. We see an endless field of stars. We see an impossibly huge, irregularly shaped shadow slide across this field of stars. As we zoom in on it, we see a porthole. And as we zoom in on the porthole, we see a map, a screen, sort of like the displays in Empire Strikes Back in the Hoth base. They would sort of look like clear glass with lines going through them. Some sort of a chart, an electronic chart. And we see on this chart blinking red light.
Oh my
And then we see like an overhead map of the immediate area from cloud height. And we're looking down on the forest to the west and the sort of the hilly plains to the east and the mountain to the far east. And we pan around and we see two people in the clouds. It's Margery and Gib.
What?
Margery, you're in a dream
Oh,
and you're in the clouds. And that's where we'll pick up next episode.
Is Gib not dreaming? Is Gib there?
Gibbs
Oh my
in the
God.
clouds physically? No, Gibbs.
it's gonna be so hard to make Gibbs shut up about this. Oh no.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Dungeons, Drive-Ins, and Dice, A Wider World, DM'd by Theodore Stringer. The players this season are Lawrence Jennings as Sparkleoneous, Grace Stringer as Margery Ridgeback, Mike Harrison as Thaddeus Ofkoot, and and myself, M. Williams, as Haribo Tamagotchi. You can listen to older seasons of the show or even bonus episodes over on Patreon, where you can support us directly by becoming a member. The URL there is patreon.com/DDAD podcast. That's patreon.com/DDAD podcast. We also make a slew of fun things for your home D&D games, like our in-progress Pokemon to D&D dungeon decks. Find more information over on Patreon. Join us for the next episode on September 12th as the band makes their way to their next show.
Next
So,
week,
how
I
many
suppose.
episodes until our new companion dies? How many episodes do you guys think? I'm gonna say 2.
By the end of it,
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring him back and have another minion, and every
Oh,
NPC
My gosh.
We are
murder
gonna
and
have
then
a
have
guild.
minion.
We're
Yeah,
gonna
We need
have
to
a
stop
traveling
feeding Margery minions. She's gonna outnumber the party soon.
We're gonna have
I'm
a
going to agree with
traveling.
Sparkleoneous that it's 2 episodes before this one dies.
I'm not as emotionally attached to.
Haribo is gonna get along with Kendra for sure. Do I think she's making it out of here? No. Do I think it's 2 episodes? Maybe not. Are we gonna be like on the border about to leave and she gets hit with an arrow? Probably. Is she dying as she crosses the line? 100%.
What do you
Just an
guys think?
instant death,
Who do you
border
think
death
I am?
spell.
Is that
Maybe
2
she gets
episodes from now?
turned.
I don't know.
Maybe she betrays us and she gets turned by the gray guy.
She's
Yeah.
she's not on our team.
Yeah, she's a guide right now, but she's an NPC guide that wants to leave. She's been set up with the narrative joy of every anime and dying as she tries to leave as we go to leave.
Yes.
But we'll get
I
there.
am-
Let's,
Free.
I'm free. Exactly. She is free, but is she? She's done.
See, I only watch the cutesy romance anime, so that's just not within my realm of awareness.
I do have a soft spot for anime that hurts me.
Mhm.
Yeah.
This is what Kendra feels like. The moment Lawrence was like, how many episodes till she dies? I was like, she's not tugging her heartstrings hard enough to die yet. We don't care enough about her for her to be shot off our horse
We
yet.
have to hear more about her family and her
Mhm.
parents' dying business and how this,
Mhm.
And also the goals that she has for her life.
She needs to improve once or twice in our presence, and then she can die.
she needs to see the world and then die. Is that what it is?
Yeah, like just the edge of the world, the beginning of seeing the world.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
dies on a bluff, looking out on a beautiful
The first
landscape
time to see beyond
He
this
dies
world
of a-
landscape.
potential.
as the sun comes up.
And we see,
Well,
and the camera zooms out, and we just see a shape falling down the bluffs. We know it's her.
We
That's
are
the
going
credits
up the top
roll.
of a mountain, so or the base of a mountain.
GG's
Maybe
gang.
she's gonna climb up.
Dang.
That shit's good.
Talk about
I hadn't
Chekhov's gun.
thought of any of this. So thank you.
You're welcome.
We'll think it for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's
It's a
a
collaborative
team building
medium.
narrative game. Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. Collaborative
Mhm.
experience.
Yep.
Mhm.
We're gonna hurt ourselves together.
You're doing a good job when the audience starts to spitball.
Yeah.